Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Life Conversations with Dr. Gbemi. Yeah, so today I'm going to be talking about dealing with grief. And so last month was my mom's 10-year anniversary of her death, and it's been 10 years of I don't know, it's been different experiences. And the reason why I want to talk about this is I don't think we talk about grief well. I find that in the church a lot of times when someone dies, I hear things like, oh, we don't grieve like the unbelievers grieve, and I don't even know what that means. Guys, what does it yes, I get the concept. The concept is that, okay, like people who do not believe, they don't know where they are going. Like we know where we are going. Like we know that the person that died maybe has gone to heaven. Like we are looking forward to going to meet God, right? So I guess the concept is that the unbelievers, when they are grieving, I don't know, is it that they are crying like there's no hope? Like, so our own way of mourning someone is that, oh, we know they're in heaven. But guys, like I heard this over and over and over again, but sincerely, guys, I've been a Christian since, I don't know, maybe when I was in my mom's home. I really don't know. I was very little, and now I'm like in my late 30s. My mom died when I was, so 10 years ago, that's like 26. 10 years ago. And okay, to make it worse, like my dad is a pastor, and so I'm surrounded by church people, and so everybody came around. Okay, so when I was actually dead the day my mom died, like I used to live in another city, and that day, it's not I know that God led me home that day, because before then I had been looking for work for like 3 months, and then I got a job like the day before my mom died. So my mom died on a Tuesday. I got a job on Monday. So for someone who has been looking for work for 3 months, you would think that, oh, I would jump at the job, right, and be happy and take the job. But I just felt, no, I want to go home. Like, and then my dad was out of the country, so I just told them, can I come and resume next week Monday, because I want to go and see my mom. And so I got home, and within an hour of getting home was when my mom passed. So God gave me that opportunity to see her, and it was so my mom died, and then we rushed her to the hospital, and so I was the one with her. Like I was the one there. Because I'm a doctor, I remember I was in the car, I was trying to like resuscitate her, I was doing CPR, I was trying to do everything I knew how to do. And when we got to the hospital, I remember I was just praying in tongues. Like I was like, God, what's going on? And so after that night, I slept in my sister-in-law's room, and I cried. Like I cried and cried and cried, and I literally cried. I don't know if I cried all night, but I know that once I woke up, that was all. I didn't cry again. I was the one that had to do a lot of like the preparations, going to the mortuary, paying for this, doing that, because they brought her to like where I trained, a hospital. And so I did all the running around, and I remember for 2 weeks, so we buried her 2 weeks after that. I was at home, like, so church people were around. They were, in fact, by the time her burial came, I had gained a lot of weight, because people were around. They were like, oh, I don't want you to feel bad, people that, family, friends who were very, they were there for us. So they were always around, like women, church women cooking, and I had to eat. Like they're like, no, you can't say you're not eating, because it just meant, oh, maybe she's depressed, she's sad, that kind of thing. So of course my dad came back, so I had to eat. That's why I actually gained weight, because they were literally putting food in my mouth, like, oh yeah, baby, come and eat. And I appreciate that. But the reason why I'm doing this video is, I heard a lot of people talked to me a lot. People said things like what I said earlier, oh, but none of those things, actually, for me, I think one thing I learned from that process is that, now looking back, is that people are different. And because we're different, yes, I know that my mom is in heaven, but we know that we are humans, like we are body, soul, and spirit. Like, this is someone who has been a part of my life. This is someone who is my mom. Like, she's everything, to me. And then she goes, and so I'm going to miss her. I'm going to be sad, like sad. And it's okay to be sad, but nobody told me it was okay to be sad. People, once they see you crying, is like they were afraid of my tears. They didn't want me to, oh, no, that kind of thing. Don't cry, but it's actually okay to cry because I'm human. Like, I'm going to miss my mom. I'm sad that, yes, I know she's in heaven, but I'm sad that she has left, But nobody told me that. And because I also grew up as a pastor's child, I understood what it meant to put up a strong face for everybody. And so when my dad came back, my dad entered his pastor role. My dad was comforting everyone. He was preaching. And I was looking at him, for me, I felt like, okay, well, anyway, sincerely, I actually didn't know what I was doing. I actually shut down, but I didn't know. I didn't know that I was in a state of shock. Like, so that was my own defense mechanism to grief. For someone else, it may be that they will be crying. Of course, for some people, they go from there into very like sad depths where they can't bring themselves out of. But for me, I looked strong. As in, if you saw me, I remember on my mom's burial, people were looking at me. Sincerely. Okay, so on her service of songs, I remember, so one of the things that helped me was God's word. How, like, for me, my relationship with God, I can tell him anything. I told him how I felt, and I remember on the day when people were talking about what she had done, I remember the Holy Spirit telling me, Gbemi, just give thanks. And for me, what that meant to me was like, God, because I also have a relationship with God, is not going to church. My grief process, what helped me was saying, okay, God, I trust you. God, I'm not happy, I'm sad, I don't want my mom to go, but I trust you in the sense that you know what you're doing. Because the Bible talks about when the righteous or the good people are taken. Because I thought about it that, okay, what if, yes, I know I want her around, but what if she was around and something worse now happened to her? Like, would I be happy about that? No, so I understood that, and that gave me comfort at that time, but I was still, so I remember on the burial day, sincerely, I can't remember anything that happened that day. As in, I can remember that we're in church, I remember the burial ground, but I wasn't there. I literally shut down, and people looked at me, and I remember people saying, oh, they are very strong, I wasn't strong. So this is just to say that, people are different, people grieve in different ways. And I didn't even know I was in shutdown mode. Like, this is me looking back. So my mom died in October, and I went to Liverpool in February for a course. That was like my first time of not being surrounded with people, of being by myself. And that's actually when I started crying. Like, in my room in Liverpool, I was the only one, and every day I just started crying, because for the first time it hit me that my mom had gone. And so for some people, they may have delayed reactions just like me. For some, I remember I went to one of my colleagues' burials, and the daughter was there crying, and after the burial service, and I remember church people like rushing to her and telling her, no, don't cry. Sincerely, I normally, as in, this is not someone, I don't talk to the girl, but I literally found my way to her, and I said, I made sure, as in, she looked at me, I was like, it's okay to cry. And it was like, she looked at me with relief. Because I was like the first person saying, because people had been trying to shut her down from crying. I was like, it's okay to cry because, you're going to miss your mom. It's not something nice, but we also, so for me, yes, God comforted me. But the truth is that, people say it gets better with time. And, for me, the pain is just different. Like, every single milestone I have reached, I have missed my mom. Like, every single milestone, because she was meant to be there. And so I got married. I remembered my mom. I gave birth. And it's also because, so I used to live in the town where my parents lived. And so when I had a baby, I knew that if my mom was here, you know, all those moments would just keep coming, you know. But every single time I give it to God, and I'm like, God, this is how I feel, you know, I need help. I need someone to talk to, you know. I wish my mom was here, because yes, I had older women around me, but I was like, if it was my mom, I won't have any issue having these conversations, you know. I didn't even know who I could trust. Of course, my mom, I never thought twice about, can I trust? You get what I mean? So anyway, this is just me saying that I'm not a grief expert or something, but seeing that it's okay to allow people to grieve, you know. You can just send messages, oh, you know, sorry about your loss, and you know, things like that. But I don't think it's okay for us to tell people how to grieve. I don't think it's okay for, yes, it's okay, it's good to encourage people with the word, encourage them with the word, and leave it at that, you know. It's not okay to tell people, why are you crying? It means you don't believe God. No, I don't think it's right, you know. And I don't think it's good to make people feel like they are not strong because they are crying. I wasn't crying, but I wasn't strong because I was just in shock. And when I came out of the shock, I started crying. And over the years, I've had tears in different ways, in different forms. It's not as active as how it was 10 years ago. And so last year I moved to Canada. You know, at every stage of my life, I miss my mom, like, and it's okay to miss her because she's a part of me. She's a very important part of my life. It's okay. I'm living life, as you know, my friends know, those who are watching, those who know me know, I've done well, you know, career wise. I've moved now, I'm starting a new journey, you know. I'm not, you know, in a place where I'm not functioning, but I miss her, and it's okay. Like, she's part of me. She had been there for me. She taught me everything I knew, you know. She imparted a lot of things in me, you know. She was a kind woman. She was a giver. She was like, I don't know how, you know. Let me say this story. There was one day someone asked me for money. So that was back then. Someone asked me for money and I didn't have it, but I said, go and meet my mom. Like, he needed money to pay for school, and I was like, go to my house. So I could do things like that. Like, I didn't tell my mom before, but I just said, I don't have the money, but go home and go and meet my mom. And she gave him, like, he was a teenager then, and she gave him. And okay, yes, now I remember the reason why I went home that day that she died. You know, there was someone I met in Lagos who needed help, and I felt, oh, I don't know what to do, but my mom will know what to do, because she always knew that was her life, to help people, you know, to give. She gave her whole life, you know. And so I celebrate her today. I celebrate everything she has imparted in me and in everyone around her. Like, she was a prayerful woman, you know. And so, and yes, I still miss her today. This 10 years after, I still miss her, you know. And if I decide to cry today, it's okay, you know. So this is just saying that for someone watching this, you know, people may have told you, why are you behaving like this? Man up. Why are you crying? Why are you acting like there is something? It's not true. You know, God gave us emotions for a reason, and it's okay, you know, to cry. We see in the Psalm, we see David talking about his feelings, and then at the end he will come to the conclusion that, God, you are good, and you start thanking God. You know, God doesn't, I don't think he's looking for robots that can't have conversations with him. For me, that's what has helped me. I have conversations with God. I'm like, God, you know, I don't understand this. What happened? I don't know what happened, you know, but I trust you. I trust that, you know what is going on. And over time, there are some things that you don't understand. You understand backwards. There are some things that you may not understand until later, you know, but he gives me that peace. He gives me that help, you know. He gives me that comfort, you know. Sometimes it may not look like I have the comfort, but it's there. Trust me, it's there. And so I just wanted to share that, and to say that, you know, it may look like in the immediate time when the insult is happening, it may look like, and for some, grief is not just about losing someone, like dying. It may be that someone left your life. It's okay to grieve. It's okay to say, I miss this, right? This is how I feel. Yes, I'm moving forward, but this is how I feel. You are human. Like, you grieve the loss, you know, but also give your pain to God. That's one thing I've learned to do, to give my pain to God and say, God, you know, you are the healer. You are the one who knows me, like, in every part of me. Like, I give this pain to you. This is how I feel. Like, maybe this person hurt me, this is how I feel about it. I'm not happy about it. It's the same thing with friendships. Like, I'm not happy about it. You know, sometimes we tend to put people down and say, no, just forgive. No, like, this is how I feel. I'm not happy about this, you know, but, and then come to that place where I say, then I now release the hurt. Like, I forgive you, you know. But okay, so that's all. That's the first episode of Life Conversations with Gbemi. If this was helpful in any way for someone watching, I hope it brings comfort to you. It releases you if you've been in any box where you felt sad, or where you felt like you were, you know, abnormal, you know, for feeling the way you felt. Yes, so that's all for today. I'll see you next week. Bye.